Welcome to Talking Halos, Derek Ciapola with Jared Tims. And after this weekend, nobody else wanted to be on the show. It's just us. It's crying shame. Really, it's just us today. Jared, how you doing?
Okay, you've been in better spots, but you hope for better outcomes than what's happening here, and you still got a lot of season left. Weirder things have happened. If you want to stay optimistic, weirder things have definitely happened. But right now, especially after the trade deadline and making acquisitions like that, it's tough to be not even excited, but tough to be happy, tough to be in it in general. And it would be interesting to know how the clubhouse feels. I mean, there's yeah, it's tough right now. This is I haven't felt this way about Angels baseball. Like there are certain times in Angels baseball that I've been a part of, been watching, been there for in the past 10 years or so since I've been doing all this, and that you can remember. And granted, I wasn't at this game, but the closest thing I can remember is I can't remember the year. The St. Louis Cardinals came into town after the Angels lost. I believe Andrew Heaney, Tyler Skaggs, and Garrett Richards all to Tommy John, very close to the same week. If it wasn't three of them, it was two of them for sure. I think Richards had an elbow issue. But that was one of the most deflating series, and then to be at the stadium to be a part of. And then they go and get swept, and they weren't even close games like this. So, I mean, if you want to take positive away, like at least you played competitive baseball. But yeah, this is tough right now. It's I mean, flat out tough for anybody, to be honest. So yeah, I don't have too many more words than that. It's tough.
They're 56-7. Let me say it clear because I jumbled my words there. They're 56 and 57, 10 and a half games out of first place now in the AL West. Lost 6 in a row, yet they're still plus 12 in run differential. I guess how do I say this? Because give me a second. Here's a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. So here we are. This is what I'm trying to get out. I have watched many years of really good Angels baseball, lots of frustrating Angels baseball. I'm older than you um, by a bit, so I can go back into the late '80s and some bad Angels teams following their their AL run in '86, and try and get back after that. Or their '95 collapsed. In '95 they collapsed. Watched them put some great offensive teams together, and then finally get 1 year, and then a good decade afterwards of baseball. That good decade, but since that all ended in 2014, this is the worst stretch of Angels baseball I've seen. And I can't for the life of me think of a reason why Shohei, outside of loyalty and comfort, would want to stay right now, because they haven't taken the steps necessary. Uh, there's positive things, and there'll be a lot of folks out there who will be negative about and can and should be negative about where the Angels have been. And there's a lot of things that I hear on social media, see on social media, about fans complaining about this, and this. But here's just the reality of it: the job's not getting done. And what I mean by that is we've seen Baltimore completely tear it down and rebuild. Now they're in first place by 3 games in the AL East, and they're a smaller market team. We've seen Cleveland numerous times tear down and rebuild and always come back. And they'll be back next year. They're 54, 58, 4.5 games out in the Central, but half their teams in the IL. They'll be back next year. They will be. We've seen Houston tear it down. We've seen Texas tear it down. We've seen Seattle tear it down. Uh, we've seen the Pirates in the early 2010s rebuild finally and bring it back up. Atlanta's torn it down. How many teams have we seen tear down? Cincinnati tore it down, and now they're in contention again. We've seen the Giants tear it down and rebuild a couple times. We've seen all these teams get it done. And of course, Houston being the big one that's gotten 2 World Series titles. Yet we've never been willing to tear it down. We had it, and in the process, it's been mediocre. You have to tear it down, and at some point, and here we are now where why would you stay? And that's just the frustrating part. Why would you stay if you're Shohei when they've done all they can with, but they've never done it enough to where you can say, this is our future, this is where we're going. And that's frustrating to watch. A 4-game sweep against a team like Seattle, who was very beatable. They were competitive the whole series, and they just didn't get it done. Why? Pitching. Just jump in, Jared. Just jump in. Say something.
I got nothing good to say at the moment. Yeah, it's tough right now. It's tough. I'll let you. I mean, what do you got?
So wait, you just want to keep going? What is it? The DC Paulo show today? I don't know. You know, there's another thing too. And he actually left the screen, folks. I kid you not. Jared left the screen.
All right. I'll take it now. I had people walking in the door.
Here we go.
It's fine. People are gonna hate this. It's not about Shohei Ohtani at the moment. It's not about a teardown. It's not about a rebuild. Like it's not about any of that. Like you can do what you want. Everybody's gonna have their own opinions. I'm gonna have my own opinion. You need to figure something out. Like that at the end of the day, whether it is a teardown, I don't agree with that. Whether it is a go all in like they just did, because you can't tear it down at this point. You really can't. You can't. You should have torn it. You should have torn it down last year. You should have torn it down the year before. You can't tear it down now. You have to live it out. You can't let Trout go. You can't let Rendon go. No one wants Rendon. Trout's getting a little bit older. That's getting tougher. A rebuild just doesn't make sense. You don't have a farm system. You have 2 players that may contribute in the farm system. If you can develop more than that, then you can develop more than that. But at the moment, you have 2 players in the farm system, not counting Logan O'Hoppe, that are going to contribute. What you do have looking forward to next year is a team to build around in the free agent market. When you look at it, you have a team to build around. You have the pieces to build a winning team next year and for following years too. You're not going to have a very good farm system. You're going to have to start rebuilding that up, but you do have a team to build around next year. Plain and simple. You really do. You have the framework of a team. You have 4 starting pitchers. You have a bullpen if it's healthy, but a bullpen is fairly easy to build in today's world. It is highly volatile, but it is fairly easy to build. Do you trust Perry Minasian to build a bullpen after all the signings that he's made that have been, maybe good, maybe bad, depending on who you're talking to? You have Brandon Drury at first base, second base. You have a shortstop of the future in Zach Neto. I don't know if you can say you have a third baseman, Anthony Rendon, but if he can stay healthy for some strange reason, you have a third baseman, and you have an outfield. You have something to build around for the coming years. You're just going to have to do it in the free agent market, which is not easy. You do not have a farm system to build. So with that being said, getting on to this catastrophe that's going on right now with the Angels, I don't have anything else to say. You're not going to put blame on anybody because everybody deserves blame, right? Like, in my opinion, should they have sold? Sure. Right? Go get what you can for the pieces that you had, especially with what August looked like and continues to look like. That's tough. What August is right now. You face only teams above 500 plus the Mets, which the Mets are still fairly competitive, fairly good team, right? Maybe not on the win-loss record, but you go into New York, that's not an easy series by any means. So August is tough. July was tough, right? I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I got. You can't, blame Phil Nevin, sure, but if you're going to blame Phil Nevin, then is it really his team? Is he making the decisions, or is it Perry Minasian? Perry Minasian has built the ball club, right? He's put this team on the field. He went all in, and it's unfortunately just not working right now. You gonna blame injuries? Sure. You want to blame Artie Moreno? Sure. Who are you gonna blame? The coaching staff, like players? You go around in circles all day and play the blame game. But right now, at the end of the day, Personally, I'm not upset. Like, it sucks. It really does. But I'm not upset because it's a bad team right now playing bad baseball. When I get mad is when they start making mental mistakes. When you
I
start
don't
playing
think they
stupid
played
baseball.
bad baseball this 4 games. The Mariners just played better baseball.
They got beat. Can you be mad at
They
them
got
getting
beat.
beat?
I mean,
That's what I meant. Playing bad
I'll give
baseball.
and you know what, I'll give them a mulligan on the Sunday game because the umpiring in this game was disgusting. You're already struggling. You don't need somebody else to hand it to you to help you out. You didn't watch the game, so why are you giving that look for? I watched that game. The umpire, and it was some horrible calls on that hurt both sides. It was just, you don't want an umpire to decide a game. Junior Valentine deserved the failing report card for that one. Nonetheless, they even take this game out. They were already losing the series. They were already struggling. They didn't get a base hit after the third inning.
And
So,
blame offense
you
that
know,
can't hit with runners in scoring position. I mean,
well, and because you have too many people striking out. You don't have enough guys who can just make contact. And that's paramount. Here's the thing that really bothers me, because we have a pretty opinionated fan base, and if I'm on our social media a lot more than people realize. I don't talk a whole lot on it, especially on Facebook. But a lot of people want to blame Nevin, and Nevin is not perfect. You can hit Nevin on some stuff, but I don't blame Nevin for this. I don't blame fire Phil Nevin for what? He's not the common denominator right now. Just say fire Joe Madden, fire this guy, fire that guy. You have the same problem. Ownership coming down. And like you said, who's really calling the shots? Well, we found out when Joe Madden got fired who was really calling the shots. And it wasn't Joe Madden. Joe Madden wasn't even being allowed to run his own team. So is Phil Nevin being allowed to run his own team? I don't think so. So why are you blaming Phil Nevin? Phil Nevin didn't build the roster. Phil Nevin didn't sign these players. Phil Nevin probably didn't even have a say in who got signed. I wonder if he has a say when he can use a reliever sometimes. I mean, we're going to blame Phil Nevin for what? That's not his fault. Does he make mistakes? Am I defending Phil Nevin? There's nothing here to defend. He's not the problem here. The problem's coming from above. Perry's done some good things. I said last podcast I was on with you guys, and that is the Angels weren't even in contention without the guys they brought up, without the guys that came in after all his injuries. That's true. That's true. Perry signed those guys, or Perry drafted most of those guys. He deserves credit for that. But it's also his job to take the roster to the next level. It's also his job to turn that nucleus that you're referencing that's there for next season into something that's a contender. And instead, you have a lot of the same kind of hitters, guys who have power, who strike out a lot, and aren't very good contact hitters. So they're going to have slumps, and they're going to have slumps against good pitching. Seattle has great pitching. And they have the Giants next, who have decent pitching.
face Logan Webb.
So here we go. Then the Astros next weekend. Yay.
Doesn't get any easier.
But there's talent there. There is talent there. This team can be a contender. But they can't hit good pitching right now. Been that way all year. And who I blame for that? Paramount. He built this roster.
He built a philosophy. He built a philosophy of hitting home runs, and strikeouts going to be there, but you build a philosophy of, hitting home runs and getting the ball in the air. And that's kind of the way baseball is right now. You're going to go on streaks and you're not going to go on streaks. Right now, we're seeing a tough streak against good teams, which is,
I'm gonna push back on that, Jared, because you know what? Other teams have that same philosophy now too, and guess what? Many of those teams are winning. Many of them are winning. Do I wish they should go back to how they used to do things with small ball contact, creating pressure on the base pads? Heck, they were doing that early in the year, and that's when they were playing well, when they were putting pressure on the base. Why aren't they doing it now? Oh, wait, they can't hit a baseball. That's why. There's the other side too. Yes, we have to consider there's a gajillion guys on the IL, most in the league. So your most talented people are on the IL right now, both in pitching and hitting, but still. Man, I sound like Nate, right? I sound negative Nate.
Are we missing him today? Is that what's going on? Do I need to? I'm going to text him right now and say Derek misses you.
Oh, he's right most of the time, but the thing is not trying to be negative. I mean,
No,
I think what's frustrating is there's more talent there, and we see it. We see flashes of it.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it all year, right? Like, and I just said it. Like, I don't get mad at losing because you lost. I get mad at losing because you play stupid baseball or make stupid decisions, right? That's when I get upset about anything, right? Like, even if I'm coaching or even if I'm playing, like when I played, like if I got hit, like and I sucked, like it wasn't my day, right? Like that's how it was. Turn the page,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Coaching wise, like you can tell, like, are we playing bad baseball or are we
Yeah.
getting beat today? Right? And the series they got beat. Like in general, like they were outplayed. They didn't play bad baseball like they had in the past. They didn't they didn't make bad decisions, right? Like Carlos Estevez blew his first save of the year. Like that's gonna happen. Happened at a crappy time, shit time to blow a save. But it's gonna happen.
Lost. Oh my gosh, Jared Tims cuss. By the way,
So
the few choice people out there who went after Carlos Estevez for blowing a save, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. The guy blew his first save of the year. They're not even in the position they were in without him here this year. He wasn't supposed to be the closer. I mean, he stepped in and did a fantastic job, became an all-star. So if you're one of those people who I don't know if you saw it, the screenshot of the one person who messaged him and went after him. Did you see that?
yeah.
Yeah, like you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot.
Yeah. Like I was
Just
saying,
wanted to say that.
no,
Huh?
back to what I was saying though. Like I don't get mad at losing to good teams, right? Like you look at the even go back to the Braves series, right? Like they beat a good team that first game. Like they played good baseball that first game. They lost the next two games because the Braves were flat out better than them. Plain simple, right? Like the Mariners this series. Mariners were flat out better than them. You move on to the Giants and it's like that doesn't get any easier, right? The Giants are at the moment a better team than the Angels.
Although last I looked, the Giants were losing to the A's.
Yeah, it
I don't know if they
happens.
changed that.
Welcome to
If they
baseball.
change, messed
Welcome.
up my fantasy this week, man. Everything was messed up this week.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. It happens. But like I said, just don't make stupid mistakes. Don't don't make stupid mistakes, and I think baseball gets better. But when you make stupid mistakes, then it all unravels. That's what we were seeing a lot early in the season, right? Like right now, they're just getting beat. They're playing good teams and they're getting beat. I don't think they're making that many stupid mistakes. I don't like you're at a point where first off, you're also running out of pitching too. Like you don't have a lot of choices to go to in the bullpen. Like if you're going to Jaime Bria in the 10th, that's not his role. Like Jaime Bria in the 10th
Yeah.
that is not his role. And the fact that he's been coming in the 10th, like tip the cap to him for taking that on, but that is not Jaime Bria's role right there. So that you're running out of pitching, you're
Yeah.
running out of things, and you're playing good teams. You're getting beat right now. Like, yes, you can be mad all you want, you can be upset, but I hate to say it, but told you so. Like this is
He
what we've been
doesn't
worried about
deserve
all
to
year.
take the loss for this, by the way.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve Burry doesn't deserve to take the loss for this. And he's a long reliever starter. That's where he should be. He shouldn't be in 10th inning. He shouldn't be in that situation. And again, I think maybe we're talking differently if this team was healthy. If we're healthy, we're talking a different game right now. If this is happening then with Trout in the field and Rendon's in the field and O'Hoppy's in the field and Neto's there, basically they're a team. If Ward's there, do you guys realize I'm listing 5 starters alone, just like that are not there right now? I mean, if they're playing and they're losing the series 4 games, then there's a lot more to be angry about. But you're just trying to survive, right? You're just trying to make it. And the Angels, I think, made a bad decision to not sell at this point because when you got 25 dudes, I'm exaggerating, on the IL, those are all your horses. What are you running out there next? I'm just saying, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I'm talking a little bit in circles because I don't have a clear mind on how to feel about this series. The way it ended, especially, kind of zapped me. But they play the Giants tomorrow.
Mentally be better. You flush this series. You flush the Astros series, or not the Astros series, the Braves series. You flush the Blue Jays series, and you got to move on. You got to start taking games. You got to start winning series. Angels are 12-12, or Angels are 4-12 against teams over 500 with a split. Got to start beating those good teams, right? The next 5 series are against teams over 500. Then you play the Mets, and you play another 3 teams against over 500, or another 2 teams over 500. You got to start beating good teams if you want to say you are competing. Whether you're hurt or not, you need to compete against those teams.
So we're looking at
the injuries. Not to sound like Nate here, but everybody's got injuries, right?
Yeah, and not like I'm not trying to excuse them, dude, but reality is how I'm feeling is different, because if you have the full lineup in there, then the lineup that should be in there, and they get swept, I'm a lot more ticked off. Now I'm just frustrated because they bought.
If you have that lineup, if you have the lineup in, we're now back at the beginning of the season, and they're probably playing stupid baseball, right?
I hope not.
That's when we're upset, because you're playing stupid baseball.
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow's matchup: Logan Webb versus Patrick Sandoval. That's, so there's your pitching matchup, right? Logan Webb. Okay.
No other pitchers.
Tuesday, nothing for Tuesday.
For the Giants.
I imagine.
I think you see Reed Detmers and Shohei Ohtani the next 2 games.
Yeah, well, Shohei's supposed to be on Wednesday, and I'm guessing Detmer's on Tuesday. We'll find out.
Find folks, find a way to win a series. Plain and simple. You got to start winning series. Got to win the rest of the series almost, going and down the stretch.
Right now, they are now 7 games out of the wild card. Stranger things have happened, but you got to pass Boston, New York, and the team that just swept you, just to be on the heels of Toronto, who won the season series. Tall task. Tough. So there we are, folks. Wish we were in a better mood. Wish we were a little bit more, shall I say, a little bit more organized in our thinking on this. But after watching that series, a little hard to do. Follow us on Twitter at Talking Halos. Follow Jared and all of his stuff, because he's got good stuff, at Jared_Tims, me at Ciapola. Don't forget us on Meta. And I don't know if I could ever change. I don't know if I can ever call Twitter X, but there you go.
Yeah.
We're out of here. Have a great one.